What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Another car video here. I just did a top 5 reasons why I love owning and driving our 2020 Subaru STI. So now I'm going to do a little bit more negative of a video. This isn't necessarily a negative, but this is just the top 5 reasons why I dislike driving this car and owning it on a day-to-day basis. This may help someone out if they're looking to purchase this car and they're like, ooh, that may be a deal breaker. None of these are deal breakers to me, but these are just some of the top 5 reasons why I dislike driving and owning this car. And I do want to mention this. I don't want to be negative and nitpick on stuff, but every car has its pluses and minuses. So this is in no way a knock on the car. It's just 5 things that I kind of wish were improved, which I'm sure they will with the new update, which is coming in 2022, I believe. But let's get into it. Because it's cold out here, it looks nice, but it's about 20 degrees, so I'm freezing. So number 1, these are no chronological order, but this car is expensive, $38,000. I think I paid 35 something for it, which is about what the market, from what I've seen, is about what they run. So you're going to pay a decent amount for it. $35,000 for a base, no sunroof, no power seats. It does have some nice features on it, but you're going to pay $35,000. You may be able to get it for $34,000, but if you're buying it new, you're not going to get it any cheaper than that. And even the used market for these things are expensive, especially if you look at some that are 2-3 years old. They are expensive vehicles to purchase. So that's going to be my first dislike, is just how expensive they are for the STI. Now the WRX you can get for a pretty good deal, especially if you just get the premium or base model, but for the STI, you're going to pay that premium price. So the second reason why I dislike this car, outdated interior. That's pretty common. Doesn't feel like the best quality interior. While there is some nice features in it, I love the seats. I actually like the 7-inch display with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Love the steering wheel, love the gauges. But when you just look at the side panels here, this is just the cheapest. This is coming from, we have a 2020 Subaru Ascent also, my wife does. And everything is soft touch, the plastic, it just feels like a better built interior of a car. So everything could use a refresh here. And this is not on the global architecture, so it's a little bit stiffer, a little bit noisier, not as quiet. So it could use an interior update. You have all this STI logo here, which is nice, but it's very cheap plastic. It doesn't feel like quality. The armrest is absolutely fine to me, but it's garbage. Everything else is okay with it, but it just seems like it could use a pretty good refresh. Go inside here, but you don't have any back vents here, but that's fine with me. I don't really care about that, but mainly it's with the door panels and just the overall interior. You can tell it needs a refresh, which it's good and ready to get. So that's probably my number 2 thing, is mainly because we're spoiled with the Ascent, because it's a newer car, has newer stuff in it. Interior is top notch in that thing. So the third thing I dislike about this car is going to be the cost of ownership. And a lot of that comes down to, for one, if you live in a cold climate, you're going to need winter tires and rims. These are my winter tire rim setup, which cost about $1,400. So you're going to pay probably $1,000 to $1,500 for winter tires and rims, because you cannot drive this car in the summer with the stock tires on it, because it has performance tires on it, performance summer tires, and they're basically turned into hockey pucks when it gets below 45 degrees. So you have that. And then see if I can get this open. While I personally love the motor, it is older motor, port injection, so it's not the most fuel efficient. So I'm getting roughly 19 to 20 miles per gallon, and I baby this thing most of the time. I don't really pound on it all that often, so there's reports about people getting 15, 16 miles per gallon, and you have to put premium fuel in it, so that's a little bit additive. And you're also probably gonna need to service it a little bit more frequently. Check the oil here, it still has a full thing of oil on it. So I plan on changing the oil in this every 3,000 miles. So you're going to do a little bit more maintenance on it likely. And insurance for most people is going to be pretty expensive. It's actually not that expensive for me, but I am 37, clean driving record, and we have a house, a vehicle, homeowners insurance. We have all kinds of stuff with one insurance company, so we get a discount. So I'm currently only paying about $60 a month in insurance, but if you're a younger driver, you're going to pay more for this. So just the overall cost of ownership is going to be higher. So bigger brakes, bigger tires, those will all cost more when you come to actually maintaining this thing. Spark plugs are a pain to change in this because you actually have to lift the motor up, which you're likely going to have Subaru do it. So that's going to be expensive. Changing the transmission fluids, changing all the differential fluids, it's all going to add up. So that's one thing that you're going to have to look into, is make sure you can afford to keep up with the maintenance on this. So the fourth dislike, this is coming from my wife. I really don't have, those really top three ones that I have are really the only ones I personally dislike about this car, but this is coming from her. She says this car is stiff as hell, and she just doesn't like how stiff it is. This is mainly for longer commutes, so we have driven a couple hour road trip on this, and it is stiff, but she has a Subaru Ascent, which is soft as can be. It's like driving a couch. So that's coming from her. She just says it's really stiff. I don't have a problem with it. So far, a 10-month-old seems okay with it. He doesn't seem to have any issue with it, but he can't tell us, obviously. But it is a stiff car, especially with the other rims and tires on it. These ones actually soften it up quite a bit, but the other ones, it's a very stiff riding car. So that's coming from her. And the fifth is actually just going to be a little bit of complaint on my kind of a multiple list of things. So the stock rims, I don't like the stock rims. I actually like these Focal F20 rims, which are cheap, $600 rims. I actually like these better than the actual rims that come on it. I really love the 2018 rims on the STI, but I do not like the stock rims on the current ones. So that's, my opinion. No sunroof. I really think for $38,000 there should be an automatic option for a sunroof. I know it adds some weight, but I would love to have a sunroof up there. So that's a little bit of a nitpick. And manual seats. This, $38,000. I think you should get power seats. But that's really it. That's really my only little minor gripes, is that I wish it was a little quieter. It's kind of loud because it's not on the Subaru Global platform, which really quiets a car up and makes it a little bit better. And I wish that these back taillights were darker, like the new Outback XTs. But that's really it. That's my only really top complaints about this car. It's really nitpicky. It was actually hard to get that list, create it. But that's it. That's the top 5 reasons why I dislike owning this car. Make sure you drive this car. Do a long test drive in it if you can, to make sure it's something that you're going to like, because my wife would never be able to drive this daily just because of how stiff it is. That's her opinion. That's something she doesn't like, but you need to take that into account. Especially the stiffness, cost of ownership, and how expensive it is. Do not put yourself in debt or car debt for this vehicle, because it is expensive all around. Especially if you don't put any money down, you're going to pay a fortune for it, and it may not be worth it. There's other things in life. If you can afford it, though, highly recommend getting it. Even with these negative things that I think are, a nitpicky things to look at. But that's it, guys. Hands are frozen because it's cold out here. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful for some people out there. And have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.